All right, guys, so here we are. We're about a week away from closing out the year 2021. It has been a tremendous year in real estate, particularly for sellers, but also for buyers. Now, is the market slowing down? Should you continue to look as we move into this new year, or should you put on the brakes until you get later into the year 2022? What does the forecast look like as we head out of 2021 and into the new year? Stick around, we're going to get into that today. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is your realtor, Nick Isgro with eXp Realty here in the state of Maine. As you know, in this channel, we cover all things real estate here in the state of Maine, particularly in the central Maine market. As I said at the beginning of this video, we are going to dive right in today to a little bit of an analysis on what the market's looking like as we close out this calendar year and what should be expected both for sellers and for buyers as we move into the year 2022. Now, keep in mind that this is mainly focused on the central Maine market. That is where I work and mostly operate, although I do work around the state of Maine. But also, I work with realtors all over the country. The US and Canada, I work with top realtors in every major city in my real estate group. And the reality is, from what I'm hearing, statistically, things are really looking a lot like they are here in the state of Maine. This is really a nationwide market right now. So keep that in mind. Your particular local market in your town or in your region might be a little bit different experience than what I'm describing here or predicting here. But overall, I'm guessing, and we'll get to that at the end, you're probably going to experience something very similar to what we're talking about here today. Now look, everybody's probably sitting at home thinking, geez, I thought realtors took the month of December off. Definitely not this year. While inventory is definitely low, we actually have more sellers than we historically have. There is still a healthy amount of sellers that are entering the market, even though inventory is incredibly squeezed. So why is it we're days away from Christmas and we still have sellers that are coming to the market, including homes that are coming on this morning, today, yesterday? Sure, there's going to be some listings going live tomorrow. Well, a lot of that is most likely caused by a lot of uncertainty about the future. Look, nobody wants to talk about it, but the reality is there's a lot of unknowns, and we've talked about that in some of the videos here on this channel in the past. What's going to happen with this inflation? Is it going to continue to skyrocket? Is the Fed going to stop their buybacks? Is the Fed going to raise rates? These are all issues that we can make predictions on, but the reality is nobody knows how long this great scenario is going to last. So sellers, seeing that there are a lot of buyers still out there and active on the market, are realizing this is still a great time to sell. Although historically people tend to wait for spring, sellers are seeing that right now is still a great time to get your house marketed, get your home sold in the winter market 2021, headed into late winter, early 2022. Now, if you follow my monthly market updates, you're going to remember that we are starting to see a little bit of a seasonal slowdown, which means that I think the average days on market was about 25 days average on market for most homes that are being listed right now here in the central Maine area. That said, although buyers are finding some deals and finding room to negotiate, if the homes are priced right, there's definitely still multiple offer scenarios. I just had something come up this morning where put a bid in on a house yesterday on behalf of a buyer. It was the first day on the market. Spoke to the broker this morning. They already have 7 offers. They're going to wait till Friday and review those offers, which means I've got to get back to work on that. As you can see, if you are someone who is selling your home or you've been thinking about selling your home, right now that squeeze on inventory is actually helping you if the home is priced right to drive these multiple offer scenarios, even though it's coming right before the holiday season in the middle of winter, because there's simply not a lot to choose from. So a good house that's priced right is definitely going to drive business and offers for you to review. Another thing to look at is the sale to price ratio. As you know, we looked at last month, the sale to price ratio, which is how much of the list price does the house actually sell for, had dipped from late summer season at about 102% of the list price, going down to about 97-98% of the list price, which was an indicator that by and large buyers are able to negotiate on average a price that is below the asking price. However, there are still a lot of scenarios where these homes are going for over the asking price. I just had a scenario a week ago where we were putting in bids over the asking price on a house. We knew it was a competitive scenario. So those deals are still happening. Those contracts are still getting signed. if the house is priced right. If it's overpriced, that's not going to happen, but if you're priced for the market, there's a good chance that it might. So overall, what's going to happen for the rest of the year? Well, I think it's going to remain competitive. The buyers that are still out there, the buyers who didn't find their deals last summer, who sat out maybe the fall when they were going and putting their kids in school and settling down where they were for the winter, they are either still looking or are coming back to the market, not to mention all of the new buyers who are just now coming into the market, which they're still coming in plenty of numbers. So this competitive nature, without some kind of massive increase in inventory, which is probably unlikely at this point, as most people are going to wait to the spring market, this influx of buyers is going to keep things competitive, not only through the end of 2021, but definitely headed into 2022, and it's only going to get more competitive, I think, as we move towards the spring market. Now, the interesting thing to watch is going to be the appreciation on these homes. There was a lot of people last spring who were thinking that the buyers that were on the market were crazy. They're offering way over asking price. There's no way we're going to buy right now. We're going to sit on the sidelines until the prices come down. Well, a lot of those people that some thought were crazy for offering those prices actually already have cooked in equity on those purchases because the homes are already appreciating, and I think all indicators say that we're probably going to have some appreciation headed into the spring market. Now, whether it's Goldman Sachs or Zillow who are being very aggressive, thinking we're going to have massive appreciation in the same way we did last year, which was over 10%, or whether it's the more moderate estimates, which is something that I have hedged towards probably a little bit, maybe that sweet spot of 5 to 8% appreciation, a little bit more moderate. Either way, however it goes, barring some massive scenario, barring some massive rate hike, these prices are actually going to go up. So the buyers that are in now, they are making the deals, but they're going to be the ones who make out probably, because if they can find what they're looking for, considering the low inventory, those homes are going to be less now than they will be come spring and summer. As a side note, it's worth mentioning that the interest rates have remained low, and this is why I don't think we're going to see any kind of massive rate hike in the future. First of all, the Fed is a political entity, whether people like to admit it or not, and right now inflation is rampant. The only way to keep the economy going is to keep these rates low, and if we look, there was a lot of people who thought that rates were going to be way up over 4%, maybe 5% by now, headed into the end of the year. They simply haven't gone there. A lot of rates are still in the threes. They've gone up maybe a little bit. Some of them gone up back down, some of them up a tiny bit and stayed there. But overall, it's still an incredibly historically low rate environment. So buyers are getting the deals and sellers are able to keep the prices high and strong. So what do? You're thinking about selling your house and you're waiting for the 2022 market. What is that going to bring? Well, all I can say is work with a professional realtor and make sure your home is priced right at fair market value. What I'm seeing in the market right now is if the home is priced right, it's going to drive multiple offers. It's likely that you could get asking price or even above the asking price. But if it's marked over the fair market value, if your realtor comes and gives you a price and says this is what your home is worth, but you just want to test the market to see if it's going to go for $30,000 or $40,000 over the fair market value, don't do that. What's going to happen is your home will sit there. Those homes are sitting. Those homes are not getting the aggressive deals that the buyers are going after, because buyers are much more savvy now. They've been dealing with this environment for a couple of years. They can see what's being sold out there. They're comparing your home to other homes, and because the market's been like this for so long, what I'm finding personally is that buyers are willing to wait. They are not going to feel pressured to pay over that fair market value if your home isn't priced right. However, if the home is priced right, it's going to drive a lot of aggressive offers. The buyers are there, so get ready. Price the home right, get it on the market, it's going to sell. Now, if you are a seller or a buyer and you've been thinking about the market, you're not quite ready, you're getting through the winter months and you're doing all your planning phases now, that's great. Just realize that the spring market, here's what's going to happen. We're going to see inventory increase from where it is now, but there's definitely going to be buyer demand to meet it. This last month, or this last year even, if we look back, I think the highest inventory we had was about 2 months worth of inventory, maybe 2.5 last spring. That still didn't drive down a lot of the buyers. There's plenty of buyers out there. There's a backlog of buyer activity out there, as we've explained in other videos, for various reasons. The buyers aren't going away. In fact, I expect more and more buyers to continue to come onto the market this year. They're going to be there to meet that increased inventory. So while I don't see inventory going berserk, the little inventory that comes on, it's going to remain just as competitive. So that's it in a nutshell. We're ending the year, we're in the middle of winter, we're headed into the late winter months of January and February 2022. Will be interesting to see how it plays out, but overall, it's a great time to sell if you're a seller. There's still lots of pent-up buyer demand, and we are busy running right up to the holidays as realtors. Now, if you are selling or buying a home right now, or if you're thinking about buying or selling a home, as always, please go ahead and drop a comment below. I would love to engage with you on the topic. If there's any questions that I can answer, if there's any resources I can plug you into, I am happy to do that. Keep in mind also that I do work with realtors all over the country, so if you happen to have caught this video, you're not in my marketplace here in the state of Maine and you want a professional to work with, give me a shout. I'll be happy to give you a referral over to a fellow professional in this business. Again, everybody, my name is Nick Isgro with eXp Realty here in the state of Maine. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video, and I will see you next time.